Here we go.
You're now live. It's J0KeR's Electric Circus. J0KeR's Electric Circus. Keeping the music loud and the hair wild. On MetalMessiahRadio.com.
Horns up, everybody. Welcome to another Friday night edition of the Electric Circus radio show here at MetalMessiahRadio.com. We are your Metal Music Messiah. I got a special guest on the line with me right now. We got Ralf Garcia of the band Poltergeist. Welcome to the Electric Circus radio show here at Metal Messiah Radio. Ralf.
Hello, J0KeR. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. So please tell us, how did Poltergeist get started from the beginning?
Well, the band was founded out of the ashes of a predecessor band called CARRION, and CARRION was formed in 1984, and Poltergeist was formed in 1987. And then, released a couple of albums and toured a lot with Destruction, SODOM, TANKARD, all the European trash bands from the 80s. And then after one last album, the band broke up in around 93. And then we reformed actually 6 years ago. And this is now our second album that really released just a week ago since the reunion.
Please tell us who the new lineup is with Poltergeist now, currently.
Currently, that's Andre KREATOR. He's the vocalist. He's an original member. He sang on all the old albums from the 80s too. And then there's VOIVOD. He's the guitar player. He's an original member as well. And then there's Jasper, who's the second guitar player. Then there's me, bass and backing vocals. And then there's J0KeR's. He's the drummer.
You got a new album out just been released, called Feather of Truth. Tell us about that new release that's currently out.
Well, we sent demos to each other about, I'd say, a little bit over a year. We exchanged a couple of demos and decided to record in spring this year at VO's studio. He owns his own studio where he produced albums for bands like Destruction and Burning Witches and Propane and bands like that. Nice. And we recorded the final album, 12 songs actually there, and soon afterwards Massacre Records were interested in releasing that new album, so that's how it all came together. And as I just mentioned it before, the new album Feather of Truth was released last week, Friday.
Oh, nice. And we've been listening to the album a little bit, and we like it and everything. What's the process like getting with a record label? What's that like? How do you approach a record label and get eventually signed?
Well, it's as you might imagine, it's different for every musician or every band. But in our case, we are playing in bands for, some of the guys play in bands for nearly 40 years. I myself play in bands for 35 years. So we've a good list of connections and network in the music industry. And so people know us for quite a long time, and then they like Massacre Records, the guy who runs the place, he released albums from an older band of mine before, and he saw on social media that we were in the process of writing a new album, and so that's how it came together. He approached us, and we talked about the details and all of that, and the rest, as you say, is history. So,
Yep.
yeah.
What are some of the lyrics and themes with the songs on the album?
It's quite a diverse album in relation to the lyrics. There are a lot of stories about mythology, especially the title track is derived from the ancient Egyptian mythology. Just let me start with that. It's about a goddess, and it's the goddess of truth, balance, and order and justice. And the ancient Egyptians, they believed in an underworld, and when someone died, the hearts of the dead were said to be weighed against a single feather. And if the heart was found to be lighter or equal in weight to the feather, the deceased had led a virtuous life and would go on to heaven. So that's what they thought, and so that story represents an ethical and moral principle, so to say, and it can be translated into our modern world too, of course, in that regard. And then there are a lot of real life topics like poverty and stories from World War II, and we even have a song about alien abduction. So it's quite diverse. There's a lot of topics on there, and I just guess there's something for the listeners, for personally stories that they like best.
What does the name Poltergeist mean? I know it was a movie before too. Please tell us how you came up with the name Poltergeist. It's an outstanding name, by the way.
Yeah, well, it's actually it's from the movie. It's how they, back then in the 80s, even then there were a lot of bands around, as you might know yourself, and so it wasn't very easy back then to find a good band name, something that would fit your music and the overall concept and image and so on. I mean, nowadays it's even a bigger problem to find a proper name. But back then, we all were horror movie fans, and so when that film came up, we thought, hey, come on, why not choose a band name? Actually, it's a German word. So that's how it came about. And poltergeist, what it means, translated into English, is it's a form of ghost. It's a ghost that lives in a haunted house and does evil things.
Very, very interesting. And who did the cover art for the album Feather of Truth?
That was Roberto Toderico. He's an Italian graphic artist, and he did covers for bands like Tigers of Pantang and Asphyx and Legion of the Damned and who else? Oh, for so many bands. He does a lot of cover artwork for death metal bands and huge outdoor festivals like the Hellfest in France, you might have heard about, or the Partisan Festival in Germany.
Right. You just mentioned your band's been at festivals. You was at festivals with Destruction, KREATOR, SODOM, TANKARD, and others. Please tell us what that experience was like with those bands.
Well, some of those bands are the same age we are, and we know each other for a very long time. Actually, we played last Friday and Saturday. We played 2 shows together with Destruction, and these were kind of one of the first 2 metal gigs that happened here in this country after the lockdown. And playing with Destruction is like so it's you can think of it as a family occasion. We know each other for such a long time, and I used to work for Destruction as a guitar and bass tech, so
Nice.
you really know each other, and you just enjoy the evening, and everyone knows what to do and so on. There's no stress. You don't even have to talk about some details of show production and so on. So it's very easy, and it's very enjoyable.
Please tell us about the mixing and mastering of the new album, Feather of Truth, and what studio did you record in?
We recorded at VO's Little Creek studio, it's called. It's the studio that is owned and operated by our guitar player, VO Pulver, and he does all the mixing, and so all the technical aspects, all the audio engineering, he does that himself. That's his main job. Running the recording studio for around 20 years, so he knows absolutely what he's doing.
How did you get started from the beginning, and who made you want to be a musician? Who are some of the influences you look up to that you were so in and made you want to say, yeah, music is what I want to do in life?
That's a good question. I was born in the early 70s, and I grew up with my grandparents, and they were both professional musicians, so there were music around the house all day long. And then, as you can imagine, in the early to mid 80s, all the hard rock and metal, when the metal thing came up and got more popular, I was totally stunned and found it very awesome. And well, the first, I don't actually really know who the first person was that I was drawn to that made me think of becoming a musician myself, but I think it was Steve Harris of Iron Maiden, because I'm a bass player by nature, and my biggest influences are Geddy Lee from Rush and Steve Harris, and probably Cliff Burton played a big role back then too, because seeing him playing Anesthesia from Kill 'Em All and seeing that live, that made a big impact on myself when I was a kid. So
very interesting, Ralph. Please tell us about the gear you use and the bass guitar brand you like to use, and why do you like that brand of bass guitar so much?
Okay. I am actually endorsed by an American company. It's called Spectre Basses, and they are located in Woodstock, in the state of New York. Mm-hmm. And I'm endorsed by them for, I think it's 8 years now or something. And they used to be quite popular in the mid to late 80s. A lot of big names played those kind of basses. And first of all, the shape of the body and the shape of the necks, that's what that was exactly what I was looking for, because I'm not that tall. I'm not like a big guy, there are bass players that are like 2 meters tall, and they use different instruments because they have longer arms than I have. So, and apart from that, I play Mesa Boogie bass amps for a very long time, and then I use so many different things. I actually teach music theory and bass as well, so I have a lot of equipment at home. But my main basses for this band, for Poltergeist, are Spectre basses from Woodstock, New York.
Ralph, please tell us about the metal scene coming up in Switzerland. You know, we got great bands from there. For one, Crocus, Mark Storaci and the band Crocus. What's the scene like coming up in Switzerland?
Well, I just guessed it's similar to a lot of other places too. You know, and nowadays there are a lot of musicians trying to do their own stuff. There's a lot of people trying to push the boundaries in relation to mixing different styles together and so on. And obviously there are a lot of bands that are at first when they start out they're trying to copy their the bands that they like best. So it's very mixed, but especially here in Switzerland, the scene there's quite a big scene for this small country. It's a very small country. We only have like 8 million people living here, and it's the country is the size of Ireland, for example. You know that the island in the North Sea, right to the left of Great Britain. So there's quite a lot of bands and a lot of musicians, but it's not something that is encouraged by the society to become a professional musician. So everything has rather a tendency to be a hobby in that sense. So that means that a lot of bands break up after a while, and the members pursue a career in a normal day job or something like that. So, but apart from that, the scene is thriving. There's a lot of new talent, and I just assume it's similar, as I said before, it's similar to other countries, and metal will never die. Obviously, it will go on forever. Even when we are all gone, there will always be people playing metal.
Right, absolutely. I totally agree and everything. What festivals or any shows you got coming up next for you guys?
Well, as you know, and all of us know, at the moment we have that little tiny epidemic plague across the globe, and at the moment we don't know when it will be possible to tour or play more shows. Like I said before, we were lucky that we could play last Friday and Saturday, and it was exactly the weekend when our new album was released. But apart from that, we don't have any set dates for until the end of this year, because everything was cancelled, and we don't know when the possibility might come again. So at the moment, I don't know. We have 2 shows scheduled for next year. They're not affected by the whole situation at the moment, but that's all I can say. It's I just guess a lot of interview partners you talk to probably say the same. It's very unpredictable at the moment, so we don't know. We hope that we can tour and play festivals very soon. So, but it's just the hope that remains in when you look at the current situation.
Whenever we do see you perform live, what kind of Poltergeist show would the fans get?
Well, we have a little bit of well, first of all, it's like we're kind of an old school speed and thrash metal band, in the veins of Exodus and Heathen and Dark Angel, bands like that. So, but we bring quite a visual show as well. But we have side drops and backdrops depicting the new cover artwork and stuff like that. And we run across the stage like idiots and making a lot of noise. So and try to enjoy ourselves and try to have a good time with the audience. That's just what it is. You know, we're all at the end of our 40s and early 50s. But we're still we're very active and physically fit to run around. So,
and loud and proud, most definitely loud and proud. Ralf, please discuss how you interact with and respond to the fans in social media and in person.
Well, since we as a band have the possibility to use social media to get an interactive communication with people that are interested in our music. I think it's brilliant because you can have exchanges of opinions across the globe from all cultures, all countries, and so on. So that makes it almost like a global scene. You know, we're not confined to only one country anymore. Yeah. But we can have that music exchange, across the planet. So I think that's great, and we actually use it a lot. We post a lot, and people send us messages or comment some new artwork or songs or whatnot. And in person, that's a totally different thing because there are, even though the band has existed for such a long time, there are a lot of people that haven't seen us live so far. And especially I'd say in the last 3 to 4 years, there were a lot of situations where people came and they might have bought a vinyl LP or a CD or something, right. And they told us, "Well, I cannot believe that I'm finally I'm able to see you live," and so on and so on. You know, so there's that feeling of appreciation, and we ourselves are very grateful for having that. You know, for people that are interested in our music and in the band in general. So it's very humbling, and it's just nice to see such moments happen.
Ralf, what do you do outside of being in the band Poltergeist to support yourself and family?
I'm a private tutor. I teach music theory and bass. Nice. And I'm a session musician as well, so I play on albums in many different kinds of styles and genres. And I work as a guitar and bass tech for international touring bands. Nice. That's my job. Yeah.
What does the music mean to you personally, Ralf?
It has been and will always be my lifeblood, I'd say. It's the thing that makes me happy. It's the thing that I can't live without, and I think music is or especially when I'm playing music or creating something new, it's in that moment. I feel total freedom. So that's what it means to me. It's more than just. It's not a job. It's not a hobby. It's more like a lifestyle. I wouldn't go as far as to say that it's totally. That's the total definition of myself as a person. But it's a huge part of what I am.
What advice would you have to give to any upcoming bands?
Well, that's a good question. There's a lot of things that you learn over the decades. If if I would pick one, I'd say just enjoy what you do, be creative, have fun, enjoy while it lasts, and try to block out the frustration of the business side of running a band.
Please tell us, what are you doing now that it's locked down and the COVID-19 epidemic, lockdown and everything? Tell us, what are you doing in your spare time?
Writing and recording and contributing to these quarantine online sessions. Like friends of mine who live in other countries, they send me backing tracks and we do covers and we record ourselves at home with our phone cameras, and then someone would edit it and upload it to YouTube and stuff like that. So that's what I'm be doing, and of course teaching music online.
Please tell us where to buy your music and give a plug on your websites where we can actually buy music.
Yeah, that's www.poltergeistmetal.com. That's our website. And to buy our music, it'd be best to visit Massacre Records. They have their own website, obviously, but if you just Google it, Massacre Records, and all the info is on there. They have an international distribution, so you can get CDs and vinyl LPs all over the world. It's worldwide shipping, actually. So
please give shout outs to your fans and fans to be.
Thank you very much for having me on this show, and I hope we see you soon, live or otherwise, maybe online. But I really hope that you all stay safe and sound and healthy out there, and take care. Hope to see you soon at some metal shows or tours.
Ralf, it's been an honor and a pleasure having you on the show with us here tonight, Joker's Electric Circus at MetalMessiahRadio.com. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule for doing this interview with us here tonight. And the best of luck to you and the guys, Poltergeist. You're more than welcome to come back on the show when the next offering comes out. Any last words you would like to say?
It's been a pleasure. Thanks a million, Joker.
All right, everyone, coming up, I'm going to play a track from the brand new Poltergeist album, Feather of Truth. We're going to play Saturday Night's All Right for Rocking. Please tell us about that track in closing. What's it about?
It's just an old school, feel-good metal song that describes the feeling when you go out to a show on a Saturday night. That's what it's all about. Nothing fancy, but it's good fun. Good, healthy, violent fun with thrash.
All right, everyone, coming up next, I got a brand new tune from the new Poltergeist offering, Feather of Truth. Here is Saturday Night's All Right for Rocking. Cricket, enjoy. Joker Live, one place, MetalMessiahRadio.com. We're always your metal music messiah. Cricket!
Hello there. This is Ralf Garcia from Swiss Thrasher's Poltergeist, and we are listening to Joker's Electric Circus on Metal Messiah Radio.